Let's talk about the only true way to learn how to day trade. And I got this idea from a comment. Now, I've gotten comments like this before, and I think I've done videos like this before, but it's been a while. And it's such an important concept. And it's a reason why, in many cases, books don't work. And I'll explain what I mean by that here in a second. But the idea here is if you want to learn how to trade, then what you need to avoid at all cost is hindsight. In other words, is knowing what happens. Because when you know what happens, it's amazing how the mind tricks you into believing things that aren't actually true. And it can make you seem like your analysis. It can make you seem that you know more than what you actually do. And that's the problem with books. And I'm not going to sit here and bash books. I'm just saying, but with a book, you have a picture. In the picture, you see what happens. And then when you see what happens, well, yeah, it's easy to say, oh, yeah, that's a pattern there. And oh, yeah, that's what you would want to do in that situation. That's all fine and dandy when you see what's going on. And one of the biggest parts in psychology is, hindsight confirmation bias, meaning you have a bias towards something, but the only reason why that bias is confirmed is because, well, you have hindsight. You already know what has happened. So instead of me just sitting here and talking about how this works, or, let me just show you a comment I got from one of my live trade videos that I posted. If you're not familiar, if this is one of your first videos you've watched on my channel, then I offer entire playlists where I record myself trading live, and that's open for comments. And I don't want to say all the time, but pretty routinely, I'll get a comment like this, and I kind of just got to sit back and say, well, yeah, but you know what that word means, and you know how to define that because you already know what happened. But the problem for me when I'm doing those videos is that they're actually live. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't have hindsight. And it's very easy, like I said, for people to throw out, and I'm not going to say they're being mean. I'm not saying they're trying to help. So I should note that, and I appreciate it. I really do. But in trying to help, they kind of reveal that they have some hindsight, confirmation bias going on. So let me just read this comment I got here, and then I'll break down the statement a little bit more and, kind of dig into why they use the certain words. So Ben says, in the Tesla trade, why do you short against power? Your odds are so low. Better to go long. Again, first off, Ben, thank you so much for watching the videos. Thank you so much for taking time to offer up your thoughts. But here's what I'm just throwing out there, and here's what everybody just needs to be aware of, including myself. I still can easily fall into this, where I'm looking at something and saying, oh yeah, this, and oh yeah, that. And if you're really being honest with yourself, I don't know, the only reason I know this and that is because, well, I know the outcome already. I know what already happened. So I don't know if that was really a valid critique when I'm trying to critique myself, because things change when you know what happens. And a couple of keywords here. So again, like I said, when I'm trading, I don't know what's going to happen because those are live. So why do you short? Now, short, if you're new, that just means making money when prices go down. So believe it or not, you can make money when prices go down. That is known as, going short, shorting, being a short. All those one and the same thing. You want prices to go down so that you make money. So, why am I trying to make money against power? Well, here's the thing. My question becomes, how does Ben know to use the word power? Well, because he knows that I shorted and the thing just kept going up and up and up. So I agree, Ben. I fully agree. I did short against power. But the problem is, at that point, I didn't think I didn't think it was a legitimate power. And I don't remember the exact details why, but something in my mind, something in my strategy, something told me, yeah, I don't think that's actually power. In fact, power would never cross my mind, just because, of course, I'm not going to short against power. But there was something that told me and implied to me that there was no power. But yes, I fully realize that in hindsight with the losing trade, yeah, I did lose money. Why? Well, because the stock actually was powerful. So why am I going short against power? To answer that is, well, I didn't think it was power in the first place. That thought wasn't crossing my mind. But again, when you have hindsight, it's very easy to define and be able to say, oh yeah, there is definitely power. And then of course down here, your odds are so low. I fully agree. Shorting against power, that's not a bad that's bad. But I didn't know it was power again. And then better to go long. So that's an obvious one, right? Better to do the opposite. Well, yes, correct. When you know that the thing just kept going up, it is. You're right. It's better to do the opposite and go long, meaning buy. But let me ask it this way. Let's say this was a winning trade. Do you think that Ben would have left this comment? I don't think he would have. Because I think Ben's a nice guy. and he would have probably wanted to compliment me, I think he would have said, good job. We'll add in shorting against weakness. Hey man, that was good job. Good job shorting against the weakness there. Your odds are so what? Your odds are so high. And it's definitely better to go short. Do you think that's plausible? I think that's very plausible. Why? Well, because if he would have seen me get in short, see the price, then start to go back down, the thought of power would have never crossed his mind. Like, oh yeah, that thing wasn't powerful. That was a great trade, Clay. Yeah, that thing was weak. You got in. Good job shorting against the weakness. Fantastic. And yeah, your odds are so high when it's better to go short there. So that's and the problem with books, right? You see everything, and then it's easy to just fill in these words because when you know what happens, and I'm the same way. Is your mind just understands things in a different way when you know what happens. So the one way that you're never going to learn is you have to avoid hindsight. And however you do that, that's up to you. That's why, and I'm not trying to structure it into MAF. So buy my classes. I'm just saying this is the way my classes and such are structured is we avoid hindsight at all costs. All my classes, everything I do, hindsight is avoided because of this very principle right here. And however you get to this, that's up to you. I've heard some people that, and what I used to, hold your hand up here on the screen so you can't see what's happening next. So you have to say, okay, what would I do right now? At this very moment, what would I do? Because if I look behind my other hand, hindsight confirmation bias, you're not actually learning in that situation. So I don't know how you have to go about it, how you feel comfortable going about it, but you need to avoid hindsight if you want to truly learn how to trade, because hindsight just makes you think that you're way too better than what you actually are. And this is how it works, is your mind starts to implement words, and the only reason it knows to implement those words is because, well, it knows what's already happened. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully this can make you aware of things in terms of your learning and your desire to get better, your desire to find new opportunities in the market. But I don't care what you got to do. Make sure you don't know what happens next before you start coming up with everything, because as soon as you do, then that's going to be a whole can of worms that's going to build false confidence and then ultimately lead you to a bunch of headaches and losing money. So hopefully this video helped. If you enjoy videos like this where I take comments, leave those down below in terms of feedback and suggestions. And really the easiest way to communicate to me, hey Clay, I like these videos. Hit the like button, leave a simple comment, even if it's a thumbs up emoji. That works. That goes long enough to tell me that this is worth my time to make these videos. And then also check out the channel as a whole. Like I said, mentioned earlier, I do offer a playlist of a bunch of live trade videos. So be sure to check those out, and hopefully you like what you see enough to hit that subscribe button, as I'd love to have you as a subscriber to the channel. So yeah, get out there and be very, very aware of this hindsight confirmation bias. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up, as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.